more than you'd expect based on, say, principles of random sampling or the null hypothesis of equal proportions across countries. But interesting to look at. Interesting perhaps if you're from one of those countries. Okay, so what else have we got in this data frame? I thought it might be interesting to ask the question of whether over time more countries are getting involved in the Winter Olympics and more countries are being successful and winning at least one medal in an Olympic. And so I thought it would be interesting to have a look at that. So let's have a look at that question. First of all, I'm assigning a variable year, just the unique values of that. And so these are just all the years that medals have been won. And so that extracts a list of years. Then I'm naming that vector the same. And I'm now applying that function using the sapply. So for each element of that vector, i.e. each year, I'm running this function. And so what have we got here? We've got the medals data frame extracting just the year that is selected in that iteration of sapply, and we're getting a table of countries for that year, and then we're getting the length of that table, which, in other words, the length of that year will be equivalent to the number of countries that have won medals in that year, and of course that will combine to tell us how many medals have been won that year. And so now we have some data with names, and those names were derived from the names in the vector list of years, and we also have the number of medals won over time. Sorry, number of countries winning medals over time, from 10 countries to 26 countries in 2006. So on the face of it, it looks like an increase. Might be nice to plot the results of this using our happy little plot function. And this shows a slightly different notation to what I've used before. Instead of using the formula notation here, I'm using x and y notation. So I'm saying the x variable, the x-axis, will be the names of the year, the names of the vector, total knock year, and the y-axis values will come from the values, i.e. the counts of number of countries. There's a little bit of tidying up here, giving an x-axis label year, y label, box type, and the main title. The only interesting thing in the main title here is this little \n to indicate that I want to have a new line at that particular point. So if we run that, we get the total number of countries winning medals by year, and we see that yes, it has gone up, almost perhaps linear for a while, up into 88 or so, and then it's seemed to have had it seems to have been a slight acceleration of that increase over time, perhaps. Okay, last few questions we might ask is which countries have won a medal at every Olympics? And so what we have here is a table. It's a cross tabulation of country and year. And so if we have years and all the countries, a lot of years, and I'm saying, well, which of these values in this large cross tabulation, which is ultimately a matrix, is greater than 0? And so what we see here is true or false based on whether that country won a medal in that year. And what we're doing here is, over this matrix, we're applying a function for each row, so 1 for rows, 2 for columns. So, and we're getting the mean. Now, what that's saying is true counts for 1, false for 0. So if the row mean is 1, that's saying that every single element of that row is a true, and therefore that country has won a medal in each of those years. So I now have a variable called prop years 1 plus medals, and we see the values of the, I guess, percentage of years that that country has won one or more medals. And so the answer here to my question, which countries have won a medal at every Olympics, can be assessed by looking at this vector, prop years 1 plus medals, and extracting, using the brackets, only those where the value equals 1. So that gets the countries, but we don't need to see the ones, so we can just extract the names of that vector and see that the following countries have won a medal in each Olympic year: Austria, Canada, Finland, Norway, Sweden, and the USA. Final question, or final analysis, is that we might want to sort that in decreasing order to see the percentage of countries, well, sorry, for each country the percentage that they've won medals per Olympics. You might want to check out whether your country's there and how they're doing. So, for example, where I'm from, in Australia, at this point in time, somewhere we're floating around AUS. Yep. Anyway, this has been my first experience with video blog posts discussing art. Hopefully it gives you a flavour of the kind of analyses you can do, and if you want to check out the code that I used to run this, have a look at jeremyanglum.blogspot.com and search for the Winter Olympics medal example.